What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Starfield, because this game has been in such a weird spot for 2023. Like, Xbox themselves has talked about the fact that this latest Bethesda experience has made them a lot of money, it's boosted Game Pass subscriptions, but at the same time, the game clearly wasn't as much of a hit as they probably imagined. Like, truly consider the fact that there have been a lot of big, influential experiences that have been coming out over the course of the last 10 years. Games like Skyrim and Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft Classic and stuff like that. There have been massive RPGs that managed to change the nature of how gamers interact with role-playing games. And Bethesda has been at the forefront of that. Their games, Fallout 3, New Vegas, even Fallout 4 to a lesser extent, and obviously games like Oblivion, Morrowind, and Skyrim, these have been really big landmarks. They have been those times where the next generation of gaming truly begins. And Starfield definitely isn't that. But what I find crazy is today, they're actually telling people that their game isn't boring. This is absolutely baffling, but they're actually directly replying to tons of negative comments. People on Steam that are saying the game isn't that great and really kind of telling them to shut up. Like, one of the primary complaints is a lot of people are talking about the fact that the game is straight up boring. This game has tens of thousands of reviews, and the primary complaint is that it's just boring, cut and dry. So I want to take a look at a lot of these weird responses because it's just strange to see a billion-dollar corporation directly telling fans to shut up. But let's get into it. Hi, I'm DreamcastGuy, like I said. If you want to like this video, subscribe, share this video if you want, post it on Facebook or Twitter or X. Okay, anyways, so everybody is kind of laughing at this right now because honestly, it's never really seen a major publisher talking like this, engaging with players individually to tell them that actually you're mistaken if you think the game is boring. A lot of people are saying, honestly, this tells you everything you need to know about current day Bethesda. Everybody is just saying this is so strange. It's really interesting to learn the creative intent behind all the poor decisions that leads to this game being boring as heck to play. Now, it may seem like I'm cherry picking these, but I mean, this is the consensus. A lot of people are basically saying the game should have been bigger or better, or I don't know, not so empty. Currently, it stands at a 69% on the Steam user reviews. Nice. Now, I do want to make it clear, these are people that paid for the game. This isn't Sony ponies. This isn't Nintendo shills. This is paid customers. People that bought the game, didn't get it on Game Pass, actually paid to play it, and are essentially upset. But here was the first one. Many of the negative comments echo the complaints about the sprawling space game, like this one posted on November 6th from a player with 56 hours in Starfield. This game is boring and overrated. There is a wide universe to explore, filled mostly with empty planets. I understand they have to sell you on the idea that this is a whole universe, but that doesn't make the game more fun. You can land on any planet and explore their copy and pasted locations. Jesus, you will see the exact same locations from one end of the universe to the other and everywhere in between. A hodgepodge of messy, slapped together mechanics, bloated skill trees, exploration, crafting, and base building. It's just an empty that's very ocean. Or sorry, Starfield doesn't know what it wants to be. It's as wide as an ocean and as deep as a puddle. Now, they actually directly replied to this. I'm going to read a lot of these replies because it's still just so unique. This is not a circumstance that's ever happened before. We're sorry that you're not liking landing on different planets and finding many of them empty. Some of Starfield's planets are meant to be empty by design, but that's not boring. I love a publisher, like a company, actually directly saying, hey man, this game isn't boring. All those empty planets, that's on purpose. You're not supposed to be having fun. Like, the boring parts, that's gameplay. You know, if you can only play the game an hour a day and you're just staring out at empty dead rocks with zero structures to explore, that's gameplay. Being bored is gameplay. When astronauts went to the moon, there was nothing there. They certainly weren't bored. Oh my God. The Starfield developers keep saying this quote, and I'll be honest, I hate this quote. When the astronauts went to the moon, it was this crazy achievement. They were engineers and scientists that got into a freaking jet fuel-filled piece of metal and shot themselves into space. That was the fun part. Walking around and getting moon dust on your boots ain't the fun part of being on the moon. The intent of Starfield's exploration is to evoke a feeling of smallness in players to make you feel overwhelmed. You can continue to explore to find worlds that have resources you need. Oh my gosh, that's it. Hey, just keep exploring, guys. Keep looking at all those empty planets. You're supposed to feel insignificant in this giant empty map. Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, sorry. So next up, here's a good one. Here's a recent person that has 76 hours on record. The story is as generic as it gets, and the gameplay gets boring. I wish there was a reason to bother exploring planets and building outposts. Everything is fun until you do it once, then it's all repeating soulless chores. And once again, here's the developer chiming in. Just yesterday, in fact, it's very weird. I don't know why this developer isn't on vacation. I hope Bethesda isn't making people work on a holiday, but here we go. Greetings. Thank you for the time to leave a review for Starfield. You can fly, you can shoot, you can mine, you can loot. Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Most quests also vary on your character's skills. Yeah, basically being like, hey, we're not going to make the game super deep and complicated, but you can choose to suck or play however you want. Oh my God. They're literally just saying, try different characters. Hey, if the game is boring, play it different. There's boring ways to play the game and fun ways to play the game. There are so many layers to Starfield that you'll find new things you never knew were possible, even after playing hundreds of hours. After completing the main story, your adventure doesn't end. You can continue on New Game Plus. This person is literally saying the game is repetitious, and they're going, okay, but what if you just repeated the entire game? I love that they keep saying, never stop exploring. Like, hey, buddy, I'm not sure you're actually reading these reviews, but the problem is that the exploration isn't fun. Another common complaint from people that have played quite a bit of Starfield, myself included, is that, the game is pretty boring a lot of times. It's got big gaps between the exciting moments, lots of empty maps, but more than that, it has a ton of load screens. Getting into your ship, that's a load screen. Touching a door, that's a load screen. Trying to talk to people, that's a load screen. Like, every single action requires it to stop the action and say, okay, populating the next area. Not a very seamless experience. Going to space, that's a load screen. Trying to land, that's a load screen. So somebody was basically saying that they could not get over the fact that there's just so many load screens, and they actually replied to that. Thank you so much for taking the time to review the game. We're sorry to hear that you're disappointed by encountering that many load screens while playing. While there may be loading screens in between fast traveling, just consider the amount of data for the expansive gameplay that is procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds. We believe that shortcoming will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world we created. Okay, again, this almost sounds condescending in a way, where it sounds like they're being like, hey, I'm sorry that you don't understand our game, but it's pretty fantastic, right? I mean, load screens are fun. That's part of the adventure, you know. This is the other part that they're kind of saying the quiet part out loud, which is that a lot of this game being procedurally generated is, in my opinion, a heavy reason why it feels so empty. Is because, like, if you're playing this game and it's constantly building the exact same 5 structures infinitely, it feels very empty, even if a particular map is full. I've definitely gone to multiple moons that had the same outposts with the same enemies in the same placement. And that procedurally generated stuff, I mean, if that's what we have load screens for, I mean, maybe it's not worth it to have the load screens if it's going to make a map so generic. Okay, so last reply here. So here we go. A negative review that points out that having to fast travel instead of flying through space makes the game feel less like it's open world. Thank you for taking the time to review our game. Anyways, here's why you're wrong. Given the immense size of Starfield, we felt it made more sense to be able to use your graph drive to jump to other solar systems. The option to fly freely among planets is still there, and you can travel from one planet to another and land without needing to open your map if you use your scanner. However, for an expedition like solar system traversal, jumping is necessary. Remember that fast travel also has its perks, so you can quickly go to that next boring quest and next boring procedurally generated crap. That way you're able to appreciate the little details that make your ship unique. Oh my God, they're saying it again. They're saying it again. Some of Starfield's planets are meant to be empty by design, but that's not boring. Literally, you know what? Here, just for fun, let's search the word "that's not boring." How many times does that not boring? Okay, they said it here, they said it here, they said it here. Okay, if you have to constantly tell people that something is not boring, I'm not saying that Starfield is the worst game of the year, but it's bizarre how much they have to defend it. Like, truly consider how bonkers it is that Starfield was supposed to be the Xbox victory lap. This was supposed to be a chance for Microsoft to show why they bought Bethesda. This was going to be their investment paying off. And then, man, did they just absolutely bork it. I think Starfield is going to be great. I've gone back and forth on this in my head, but previously I kind of thought that Starfield was unsavable in a way. You know, like, all right, it's not particularly fun now, but if they continue to develop this, if they spend another 2 or 3 years making expansions, making updates, making patches, if they overhaul this the way they did with Cyberpunk 2077 or No Man's Sky, eventually this game will be great. If they continue to work at it, I think Starfield could be awesome in 2025. But for 2023, it's a very 7 out of 10 experience. But what do you guys think about it? Is this as funny to you as it is to me? Because you know what? That's not boring. Planets are meant to be empty. When astronauts went to the moon, I can't get over the fact that they said that exact same statement 800 times in the media and in replies. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and keep dreaming. But also, that's not boring. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.